34-0. We've got all the takeaways from Saturday's big time win.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Whose house? Rams house. What is going on, Ramley? And welcome back to Locked On Rams, all a part of the Locked On Rams audio podcast feed and wherever you can get it on YouTube. It's free and available everywhere and all a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You know who the heck he is, the people's champ, Travis Rodgers, and I'm Gavin Carlson. Great show for you today, Ramley, as always. We'll talk a little NFL Top 100 as not one, not two, but three members of the Rams will be in that top 10 list. We'll, of course, have all the takeaways from Saturday's big-time win, including the quarterback 2 battle and the defense looking absolutely disgusting. But before we get into all of that, quick shout-out to the sponsor of today's show. It is FanDuel. You can join all the action at FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer this MLB season. Well, Travis, I know it's preseason. I know it doesn't matter. I know there are arguably not even backups playing in these games. It's third stringers and lower. But anytime you can go out there and beat a team 34-0 and do just about everything right, as, let's be honest, the other team just does just about everything wrong, you will take it. And that is what we had on Saturday. A disgusting game, at least in the first half, penalties everywhere. But one team looks like they are ready for week one, and it's their backups and third stringers. The other, we don't even need to talk about them. Your thoughts?
I think that you covered a lot of it. Look, the preseason doesn't matter at all, with a couple of exceptions, and I think a couple of exceptions that the Rams checked the boxes on the exceptions. The result 34-0, great. You'd rather win 34-0 than lose 34-0. You'd rather not give up any points than give up points. You'd rather throw touchdowns than not. I understand all of that, but the actual result itself is not really meaningful to me. But what is meaningful to me is the way that they looked. What is meaningful to me is the way that they played. What is meaningful to me is the depth of talent that they have on this team. Because, like you said, the vast majority of the guys that we saw on Saturday afternoon will either be backups or not on this team. And of those backups, they are probably extreme depth pieces at best, which means, third stringers are guys that can fill a lot of different roles or special teamers or whatever. Now, that being said, one or two of those guys that's played in these first two games, we're going to be here in week 10, Gavin, week 14, and go, remember when he showed out against Jordan? Happens every year. So there's always a little bit of something that's going on there. But I think the thing that gets me really excited, the thing that has always gotten me incredibly enthusiastic about the Rams and Rams football, they just know what they're doing. Like you just said, one team looked like they had just met each other in the parking lot 30 seconds before the game started. The other team looked like they had a coach and coaches and a staff and leadership that even guys that are never going to play in this organization, they understand what the ask is. They understand what the role is. And I think that's the part that makes me feel great, because if guys that are going to be on other teams or out of football or whatever it may be, that they are executing at a certain level, what does that mean for Davante Adams and Matthew Stafford and Kyren Williams and Myles Garrett and Kobe Turner? Like, if the starters can certainly take that same level of professionalism and then add their talent to it, get out of the way, man. This could be really something special. So, again, a huge credit to Sean McVay, a huge credit to Sean McVay's staff for getting his team ready to play like that in a game that, doesn't matter, but they went out there and they handled it like professionals. And I just think that is a sign that permeates the entire organization, that when they're going to play a game, even if that game doesn't matter, they're going to show up and do it right.
Yep, and I got another one of these. My steak is too juicy, my lobster is too buttery points, right? Think about the problem that the Rams leave Saturday's game with, right? If you're the New Orleans Saints, it's we don't have a backup quarterback. Travis, I know you. We'll talk
Oh,
about our
right.
quarterback situation, but
You're
their
right.
quarterbacks are throwing picks and can't complete passes, and one of those two guys is back up their quarterback. Their takeaway is we have no depth. Their takeaway is we have no discipline. Even our backups are they have 12 penalties in a game. What's the problem for the Rams leaving Saturday's game? Who do they cut?
Right.
That's the problem for the Rams. It's who in the heck do they cut? You've got guys like Wesley Bailey who are undrafted rookies, and it's like you can't watch that game. The guy has a sack. The guy is forcing fumbles at the goal line, and you're like, how the heck does this guy not make the roster? Oh, by the way, if he made the roster, he'd join one of the best front sevens in NFL history. Like that's what we're talking about here. Alex Cook, 100-yard pick six, and I don't think he's making this route, right? Like it's crazy what's going on Saturday for the Rams. The defense was phenomenal, and again, this is a defense that might not even be the best side of the football for this team because on the other side has, we'll talk about it later, two of the top 10 players in football on it, right? Like it's ridiculous. It really is. And it wasn't just one or two guys, which your goal in a preseason game, Travis, I think, is to have one or two guys, like you said, show out so that they can maybe make the roster when they weren't supposed to. But every single guy, especially on defense, had a good game. AZ Hamilton looked great. Cam Lampkin made plays. Obviously, Alex too. We'll get to the winners and losers later in the week. But it just felt like try to find a loser on the Rams defense in particular. You're not going to do it. You force two turnovers or three turnovers, three turnovers. You're sacking the quarterback. You're limiting them on third down. You outgain them by 100 yards. You have double the first downs that they have. Your special teams played better as well. You did everything right from a defense and special teams perspective. And oh, by the way, the offense looked good too. But Travis, there's going to be guys that played amazing on Saturday that don't make the team. And it's not because of a poor performance like you're going to say for Saints players. It's because everyone on the Rams looked that good.
Yeah, look, not everybody can make the Rams, but they can make other teams. And again, and I think that's one of the benefits that the Rams are going to have over some other organizations over the long haul, right? Because there's a couple of things that go on with the Rams that, like you just said, everything about how guys look sharp and ready to go, that goes without saying. That one of the great expressions of football is everything you do is on tape. So if somebody needs a defensive lineman, if somebody needs an extra corner, all of this is available to every other team in the league. The 31 other teams say, you know what, that guy looks pretty good. He's better than our guy. The Rams aren't going to be able to keep that guy. Keep your eyes open so when they cut him, we can swoop in there and do it. So there's that. The other part is the Rams are very good at helping those guys that look. It has nothing to do with anything you did. It's not like you failed your way off the team. It's just this is a team that has too many players at any one given position group, and we can't carry everybody. Somebody's got to go. Let me help you find a landing spot over here or over there. That just makes it more and more likely that people are going to want to come to the Rams, that people respect the Rams, that they have the reputation of having great culture. So you're gonna attract a lot of very talented guys, whether that's free agents, whether that's undrafted players each and every year, knowing that they will get high level coaching, knowing that they get an opportunity to go somewhere that just because I sign with the Rams, maybe I make the team, maybe I don't. But if I get coached by Sean McVay and his staff for a month and a half in the offseason, and all of a sudden I'm on I don't pick a team, the Arizona Cardinals, it's like, okay, I'm still in the NFL and I still got a chance to kind of hone my craft in one of the better organizations in the league. So I think that's another really positive benefit out of what we're seeing is just the depth of not just player talent, but organizational talent that allows these guys to go other places.
Yeah, it's a fantastic point because Sean McVay has really built one of the few teams in the NFL that feels like a program. It feels like a college football program where, like you said, if you are an undrafted guy and you want the best shot, you're going to join the Rams. The same way if you're a high school guy and you want to make it to the NFL, you want to play for Alabama. You want to play for the Big Ten, right? And if you're a coach, you want to be on Sean McVay's staff because he's going to give you a shot to call plays in the preseason where you coach a bunch of players that are pretty good and you're going to look really good as a coach and win 34-0 and probably become a head coach in 2 years. So it's a great setup. It's a great program that Sean McVay has built, and it all results in another big time win for the Rams, 34-0 over the Saints to move to 2-0 in the preseason. Up next, we'll talk about, of course, the biggest storyline outside of the defense from that game, and it was the quarterback 2 battle. We'll talk Stetson Bennett and Ty Simpson after our break on the Locked On Rams podcast. We'll be right back. Today's show brought to you by Gusto, and I love it when we have a new partner that we can talk about because running a small business means wearing a lot of hats, and payroll, HR, and benefits can quickly become some of the most time-consuming tasks on the list. Gusto helps simplify those responsibilities with one platform designed to make managing a team easier. Gusto is an online payroll and benefit software built for small businesses. It's all in one, remote friendly, and incredibly easy to use. So you can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere. From automatic payroll, tax filing, and simple direct deposits to health benefits, 401ks, and built-in onboarding tools, Gusto brings the day-to-day HR tasks together in one place. There are also certified HR experts available to help with those tougher HR situations. So try Gusto today at gusto.com/lockedonnfl and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/lockedonnfl. One more time, gusto.com/lockedonnfl. Let's keep it rolling on Locked On Rams, all a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Shout out to the Ramley, as always. It was fun on the Locked On Rams squad show after the game on Saturday, and it's fun going through your comments every single day on YouTube. I'm going through them now and replying. So please, after you watch this on YouTube, go leave a comment. Let me know what you thought me and Travis said right. Let me know what you thought me and Travis said wrong, okay? We're big, man. We can handle it. I want to hear what you guys think in the comments. Let us know what you thought of the performance from Stetson Bennett, because Travis, there's no one arguably who had a larger spotlight on them coming into the game on Saturday than Stetson Bennett. He was certainly the lesser of the two impressive quarterbacks in week 1. He comes out here, and the big question was, how much would he play? If he only played a drive or two, again, it looked like he had quarterback 2 in the bag, but that is not what happened. Stetson Bennett, after throwing just 6 passes in week 1, comes out and throws the ball 31 times, arguably makes the most noise with his legs, though, with not 1 but 2 rushing touchdowns. And it's kind of a polarizing performance because some people have been saying, boom, he did it. He proved he's the backup quarterback. He was phenomenal. We have the best backup quarterback in football. Others went, this guy still threw like 4 incomplete passes that he shouldn't have thrown. He missed throws. He could only convert in the red zone with his legs. And I'm still not convinced. Where do you stand on this, Travis?
I agree with everybody. I think that there's a lot there. I think there are 3 numbers that really pop out at me in this game. Number 1 is 31, the amount of passing attempts that he had. That's a lot, and that's a lot in a half of football too. So obviously, Sean McVay and his staff, that they decided, look, let's put the ball in his hands and see what happens. I think that's number 1. The next 2 numbers I think are more important than that, and they're both zeros, right? 0 interceptions and 0 sacks. That both of those I think are really good numbers. That I understand the Saints are not a great team defensively. I understand that it's a lot of backups, etc. He didn't throw the ball to the wrong team. I think that means a lot. The other 0 in the sacks, I think, is nearly as meaningful, meaning he's not just standing back there waiting and waiting. It's not there. Get rid of it. Move on. There's a lot of incompletions in those numbers, right? You look at what he did. He threw the ball 31 times, but he only completed 19 of those passes, which means 12 of them hit the deck. But they didn't land in anyone else's hands either, so you can live with it. So that's the positive. I think that they said, show me what you got. And he kind of sort of did. I think the other side, the second group of people that you're talking about, they're right too. This is when it gets real tight down near the goal line. that's when I think his size becomes a bigger issue. He can't see, right? That I think that's a big part of it, just being able to kind of see what's going on. Now, he can make some stuff happen with his legs. We know that the better defenders down there, in the event that there's a real game, his ability to escape a starter is probably not the same idea as being able to escape a backup or a backup to a backup. So I do think there's some sort of a fair analysis or criticism of, hey man, we're going to have to be able to punch the ball in through the air there a few times. He wasn't able to do it. He's only able to do it with his legs. But all in all, I thought he performed very, very well. No sacks, no interceptions, and seemed to have a pretty good idea what they were trying to get done.
Yeah, and Sean McVay, he said, I thought he used his legs, like you said, as a weapon, which we talked about a little bit with you guys last week. What I thought was interesting, he says, I think those are the things that don't necessarily come to life in some of the practice settings, right? Like, it's true. You're not really asking Stetson Bennett to run around in a practice, whether it's a joint practice or a real practice. And on those 2 plays in the red zone, he did use his legs. But kind of like you said, Travis, and like we had said last week, Stetson Bennett, like, sure, he can use his legs better than Matthew Stafford and better than Ty Simpson. Is he an NFL level runner at the quarterback position? No, right?
No.
So it's one of those things where, yeah, against third stringers, fourth stringers, can he have a bootleg? Can he beat a guy to the pylon? Absolutely. Was that enough for me to go out there and say, yes, I trust Stetson Bennett to run the ball 8 times for 80 yards as a starting quarterback in the NFL if Matthew Stafford goes down? No, not necessarily. But that being said, the same way Ty Simpson, you got to be fair, the same way Ty Simpson in week 1, it wasn't him standing in the pocket and looking like Peyton Manning. It was him, though, play action, get on the bootleg, throw the ball on the run, and make an accurate throw on the run. There were a couple times where Stetson Bennett did that. The best play of the game, in my opinion, not the 100-yard pick six, not the sack from Wesley Bailey, not the fumble near the goal line. It was that 4th down from Stetson Bennett where it's a play action. He's got a guy in his face. He stops. It looked like he was trying to roll out bootleg. He has to kind of stop, step up. There's a guy in his face. It's 4th down. So, he is just going to throw it no matter what, but he flings one out there, lobs it, makes a phenomenal throw to Tyler Scott, who makes a phenomenal laying out catch on 4th down to convert. That was the best play of the preseason for Stetson Bennett because it eliminated a few of the things you were saying. Yes, he had the ability to get out of the pocket, but with the guy in his face, Travis, where, like you said, he's not able to necessarily see that well, he made a beautiful throw on the money to Tyler Scott. Now, like you said, there was plenty of balls that hit the ground. Max Clare dropped one, but other than that, he had a couple bad throws. In the red zone, you would have liked to have an opportunity to take a shot in the end zone, but it became a 3rd and long, and he took a check down. You took 3 points. It is what it is. That being said, all in all, Stetson Bennett, you throw for 180 yards, you rush for 2 touchdowns, you don't turn the ball over. You can't be mad. Now, Ty Simpson, and I'll let you finish your point on Stetson too,
Sure.
But you're curious too how it compares to what you saw from Ty Simpson in his limited action.
Yeah, I think with Bennett, like him making those plays off schedule, the one you described, is a fun play. It was a really fun play to watch, and it's exciting. Keep in mind, keep in mind the scenarios in which he is likely to be playing, right? Like in the scenario, which is, hey, Matthew Stafford took a shot. He's out for a few plays. Maybe he's out for a half. Maybe he's out for a couple of weeks. This is a don't blank it up, hand the ball off, throw it to open guys, and we can punt and play defense. So when we get a lot of this pump fake, run it out, like, okay, that's cool against some backup guys, but dude, let's not be crazy about this. Let's make sure that we're doing some things that make a lot of sense. So again, I'm not trying to throw a ton of cold water on it, just to add a little context to what's going on out there. I thought Simpson was good. I thought that he was, again, he did what you would expect a guy to do. They asked a lot less of him than they asked of Bennett. They only had him throw it 12 times. He completed 8 of them along the way. Again, 2 big zeros, no sacks, no interceptions. I think that when you're talking about a backup that, guys are going to get sacked occasionally. That's fine, but let's make sure that it doesn't happen a lot, and let's make sure that we're not making a 5-yard sack, a 12-yard sack by running around like a maniac back there. But again, nothing, and I think this is a low bar, but it's the bar we're asking both Bennett and Simpson to clear, and I think they both did it. Did it look like blank? No. It looked fine. Now, did it look great? No. But that's okay. You're not going to ask Ty Simpson or Stetson Bennett to just go out there and say, okay, we're going to need you to chuck it 45 times like Matthew Stafford. That's not going to be what they're going to ask him to do. oddly enough, what you're asking them to do in the event that they have to come in and play is kind of sort of similar to what you're going to ask them to do in a preseason game, which is move the pocket, hit the open guy, hit the guy in the flat, not push the ball down the field, hand it off, run the team right, don't take sacks, don't throw interceptions. It kind of translates a little bit. So nothing negative to say about Simpson. They just didn't ask him to do a lot in that game.
Absolutely. Like you said, it's probably realistic to what would happen in real life, which is the whole point of this thing. Like you said, a lot of credit has to be given to the offensive line, too. I thought not only was the play calling helpful in terms of limiting sacks, but Austin Blask, I think it's Blask, how you said, he had a great game at right tackle, filling in for Keegan Trost as he is out, right? And again, these are important reps for offensive linemen because they might be asked to do something, right? So he looked really good in my opinion. And Bill Murray, the left guard, was the best player for the Rams in the game on Saturday, both from just watching it and from a PFF grade perspective. The offensive line was great, like you said, and Travis played a big role in there being zeros in sacks and interceptions, which you absolutely love to see. Now, up next on Locked On Rams, we'll discuss some guys that did not play on Saturday because they'll be playing on Sunday all year long for the Rams. Myles Garrett, Puka Nacua, and Matthew Stafford all in the NFL Top 100's Top 10 list. We'll tell you where we think they'll land. That's up next on Locked On Rams. Today's show brought to you by Home Chef, because life gets busy and figuring out what's for dinner every night can quickly become another thing on the to-do list. Home Chef takes the stress out of mealtime by delivering fresh ingredients and easy-to-follow recipes right to your door. Whether you're looking to eat healthier, save money on takeout, or simply spend less time grocery shopping and meal planning, Home Chef makes cooking at home simple, convenient, and enjoyable. Now, look, I love food. I like cooking. It feels good when you can cook for yourself and cook for others, but I'm not good at it. Okay. And I'm not good at going to the store and figuring out what I need. I'm not good at picking a recipe that I'll be able to make. Okay. It's not easy. Home Chef makes it so much easier for me and for a lot of people. People really love it. Look, Home Chef is rated #1 by users of other meal kits for quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. It is simply phenomenal. So, for limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 50% off and free shipping for your first box, plus free dessert for life. Okay. So go to homechef.com/lockedonnfl. That's homechef.com/lockedonnfl for 50% off your first box. And again, free dessert for life. Homechef.com/lockedonnfl. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. Let's keep it rolling on Locked On Rams, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'll switch gears a little bit from the preseason win over the Saints. We'll have plenty more for you guys on that the rest of the week. We'll get to our winners and losers. We'll, of course, talk about the quarterback race and where we think that stands going into Thursday's preseason game. Plus, we'll talk probably about some of the cut candidates and who's going to maybe be cut, even though they played well on Saturday. That's all up later in the week. But let's switch gears a little bit, Travis, and talk about the NFL Top 100 players list, because it's a fun list every year. And the biggest takeaway, as the NFL kind of hinted at the top 10, is that the Rams, the only team with 2 guys in the top 10. Oh, wait, they have 3 guys in the top 10. Okay, so a great reminder. I know Travis will probably find a way to make this a Dodgers thing about how if there's a list like this for the MLB, the Dodgers would be at a similar position. But going down the list, and they did not reveal the order yet, but it's Josh Allen, Myles Garrett, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Puka Nacua, Micah Parsons, Bijan Robinson, JSN, Matthew Stafford, and Patrick Surtain. Again, no team has 2 guys on the list. The Rams have 3. I don't think we're surprised by that at all, Travis, but it just speaks to, we're talking about the depth of this team when you win 34-0 in a preseason game. Oh, by the way, they're top heavy as well, Travis. It's a good problem to be in.
Ohtani, Skubal, and Yamamoto, I think, would all be in the top 10. So there you go. I think there's your 3 Dodgers in the top 10 if we were doing an MLB top 100. I think you're right. I think that, they have so much talent. And oh, by the way, here's what's crazy. And probably not top 10, but top 20, top 30, Aaron Donald. Like, you know what I mean? Like when he got, and again, I get it. He's been out of the league for a while, so we're going to need to see it again. But is anybody going to be surprised if 99's out there? Like, oh, he's the best player on the field. No. So I mean, maybe it's 3 with an asterisk considering when Aaron Donald comes back. Yeah, look, this is why it again, and not to do a Dodger thing, but this is the Dodgers basically go through their season to play in October. And that's when all of that talent comes out and you hope that it's good enough to get you across the finish line. I think that we're going to see something similar to what's going on with the Rams here in a couple of weeks. That all of this talent that we've just kind of put over there, and it's going to be go time in Melbourne here in a few weeks. And it's like, okay, let's see what it looks like. There are no glaring holes on this team, especially when you're talking about like the glamour positions, the guys that we talk about in fantasy football, right? Myles Garrett, Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford. Like these are the guys that pop. And it's not just pop because we're Rams fans. They pop across the league. So that you saw 3 names in there, not a huge surprise, really. And I think if it's a surprise, I think it might be the fact that Stafford is still operating at this incredibly high level at this point in his career, coming off of an MVP season, though maybe not nearly as big of a surprise. And that Myles Garrett is on the Rams. Not that Myles Garrett is on the list, but that he's on the Rams, I think is the surprising part. And Puka's just one of the best players in the league, has been for a minute. So yeah, I mean, let's get started. Let's get started. Cross your fingers. Hope they stay as healthy as you possibly can. And let's see what the damage that these guys can create for their opponents, because talent, coaching, ambition, want, all of they're checking every box. Now you just got to hope that the good luck box gets checked as well, because if it doesn't, if you get the bad luck box checked, God only knows what happens next.
Yeah, and I think too, looking at the list, right? Like you think about the most important positions in the sport. Obviously, quarterback, the most important position in any sport, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion. There's only 2 guys in the top 10, and you got one of them, right? And yours better be, because he was the MVP, ranked higher than Josh Allen, and probably will be. In the modern NFL, the second most important position, maybe left tackle, but it's probably a pass rusher, right? To get to that most important position. There's only 2. One of them's Micah Parsons, who isn't going to be playing in the NFL for the first half of the season. And the other is on the Rams. It's Myles Garrett. And he will certainly be in the top 5. He might be number 1. He just put forth one of the best defensive seasons we'll ever see. So I think you have 2 of probably the top 3 guys on this list, with the MVP and the DPOY. And then, oh, by the way, the third most important position in the NFL probably right now in the modern NFL is, do you have a dog at wide receiver? There's only 2 on the list, and you've got one of them, right? So think about that. The 3 most important positions, you have one of the top 2 at all 3, which isn't a coincidence. The Rams, they went out and said, let's go get that guy. Let's go trade for Matthew Stafford. Let's go get that guy. Let's go trade for Myles Garrett. Oh, by the way, we drafted a guy in the 5th round who's already that guy at wide receiver. You not only have the most, in the most important position, one of the top 2 players, but you also have 2 of them in Stafford and Myles Garrett, probably in the top 3 or 4 on this list. Puka will probably be around 8. Okay. It's filthy. It's disgusting. You got him at all the important positions. And then, like you said, Travis, Devontae Adams, oh, by the way, the guy led the league in touchdown. He's a top 50 player probably, right? I forget where he ended up on the list. Kobe Turner, darn good. Trent McDuffie, one of the 3 or 4 best corners in the league. It is insane. Where do you see Myles Garrett, Matthew Stafford, and Puka ending up on this list? I think Stafford and Garrett have to be top 5, right?
I think Garrett might be number 1. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that if he showed up number 1, I don't think anybody's like, what the blank is going on here? It's like, okay. I think Puka's probably near the back of that top 10, but okay, fine. That's, that's disrespectful. Disrespect me all day long. And then Stafford's probably somewhere, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in the fat part of the curve right there. I like how you said it. There's 4 things that matter in football. There's more than 4, but the big 4 are: who's the guy that throws it? Who's the guy that protects the guy who throws it? Who's the guy that hits the guy that throws it? And who catches it? Okay, they got 3 of the 4, and the 4th guy is actually, in a Lamar Jackson. he's not Trent Williams out there, but he's, for the ROI that they got, an undrafted player that they developed into a starting left tackle. He's pretty darn valuable as well. He's not going to crack the top 10 or the top 50 or anything like this, but they've got a good left tackle in Lark Jackson as well. So with those four guys, they check three of the boxes in a very major way. And I think, you and I, if you say like, hey, look, Jackson's going to be healthy and available all year. Okay, good. I feel good about that too.
Yeah. I mean, our stake it's way too juicy. I mean, Puka's only going to be ranked 8 because this guy named Matthew Stafford's going to take 5, and Stafford's only going to be 5 or 4 or something after the MVP because his teammate had to take the number 1 spot. I mean, yeah. Again, it's a good problem to have. And like you said, knock on wood. Let's just make sure everyone's out there playing well, because let's not forget 2 of those 3 guys have not been practicing in about 2 weeks, and the other one is a little bit older for an NFL player and had a back thing. So it was good to hear from Matthew Stafford during the preseason game as well. He did make it clear that he said, I feel so much better during the preseason right now than I did last year. And this is a guy who just came off an MVP season. So that's a good sign as well. But it'll be interesting to see. We won't see these guys on Thursday. Of course, none of them will even sniff the field. But we're getting close, Travis. We're getting close to seeing them out there on the field in Australia in week 1.
Yeah, as bad as the preseason is, and I just can't. But the third game of the preseason is a whole nother level of, my God, what is this? and we're almost done with it, right? We got 4 days until we get to that, and then they got 2 weeks after that to get to the first game of the season, and let's go. Can't get here fast enough.
Let's go. But I mean, even with our, opinions of the preseason, at least we weren't the team that got beat 34-0.
No,
at least we had a 100-yard pick six, a couple of good quarterback performances, and a good defensive performance to celebrate. Because you could be the Saints right now and be like, oh my goodness, we are not ready. You could be the Browns right now and having your starting quarterback getting booed by his own fan, right? You could be a lot of other teams, but instead we are the Rams, and we love that we are. So shout out to you, Ramley, as always. It was fun after the game live. It was fun going through the comments throughout the week. Again, leave your comments, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I want to hear from you guys. I will be in there in the replies replying to you. So if you say I'm wrong about something, hey, I might hold you accountable, right? I might reply and let you know that you are wrong. But in all seriousness, we love you guys, and thanks so much as always for making Locked On Rams your first listen each and every day. Now, on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 YouTube channel on the NFL, and on audio, check out Locked On Fantasy Football with Fabs and Marcus for your second listen. Well, for the people's champ, Travis Rodgers, I am Gavin Carlson. We'll see you back here tomorrow, but a great win that we'll keep talking about all week long. Whose house? Rams house. The Locked On Rams podcast signing off. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care.